Welcome to OnCore Live and our last webisode of 2022. I'm your host, Robin Bell, and we're really glad that you're here with us today. On today's show, we're going to be discussing industry insights. Now, for those of you joining us for the first time, the Industry Insights sessions bring experts and thought leaders together to share their knowledge about today's most meaningful industry advancements and growth opportunities. We've got some great interviews coming up for you today. So get ready, because today's guests are going to give you information, insights, and sales strategies that will help you drive results in 2023. During today's OnCore Live, we're going to talk to Tom Zimmerman, Principal of Shift Sales Training and Consulting. Tom's going to shed some light on a few trends that he's seeing that could help impact the sales channel in 2023. In addition, he's going to share some of his best sales starter tips for opening up a conversation that can lead to sales success. And we all like that, don't we? Joining us now is Tom Zimmerman. He's the principal of Shift Sales Training and Consulting. Tom has extensive sales expertise and training experience, and we're really happy to have him share his knowledge with us today. Hey, Tom, welcome to OnCore Live. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, Robin, I'm excited to be here. Thank you.
Yeah, good. It should be a fun time. So, Tom, why don't we start by having you tell us about yourself?
Yeah, sure thing. So I grew up in Indiana, came from a family of entrepreneurs. My grandfather, my dad, both started and had their own businesses, largely around automotive, whether car dealerships or auto parts. And I grew up in the business. Growing up in the Midwest with a name like Tom and selling auto parts, I am the real life Tommy boy. Unlike Chris Farley, I don't think I lit anyone's desk on fire, but I did travel the Midwest selling auto parts. I went to Purdue University and actually majored in selling and sales management. Have a minor in organizational leadership and development. And from there, went to work for Trex Decking, spent some time in the building material space with Trex Decking, AZEK Building Products, led a team with a company by the name of Boral, helped launch them into a new segment of their overall business. Spent some time with a tool and equipment distributor by the name of Grand Quartz, and decided to follow my passion of sales strategy and people development, and started Shift. And I live in Georgia, been here about 15 years, have a beautiful wife and 3 lovely children.
3 lovely children. That's really nice. I hope they're listening to this. So you've got a very robust background in sales, training, and organizational management. In 2019, you founded Shift Sales Training and Consulting. You mentioned that a moment ago. What is Shift all about? Would you tell our viewers?
Yeah, Shift is really all about helping my clients. Clients come to me when they're trying to find the next gear, say, in their business. Maybe they don't know where to turn next or how to drive to find their next level of performance. As we have my logo on the screen, you can see the stylized H there. We've got a red dot in the upper right corner. Well, that represents a manual transmission in 3rd gear. So like sales, you want it to go up and to the right, but we have room to find a 4th gear and find one more bit of value to squeeze out for our customers. So that's what I do, whether it's from training to aligning process, making the sales teams more efficient, or rather making sure sales and marketing march hand in hand. So one's feeding the other and they work together as opposed to 2 separate forces within the company.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So this is like a sales philosophy as well as a strategy. And speaking of strategy, as a sales professional, what opportunities do you see that can boost sales for 2023? You got any ideas there?
You know, Robin, I guess we're all a little insane. We try doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. And whether it's 2023, what's left of 2022, or wherever someone else is in their sales journey. I've traveled with thousands of salespeople and worked with them over the years, and we all struggle with listening. And we need to be better listeners. And it's not just like I tell my son Tucker, hey, you listen. Maybe it's a little bit more colorful than that, but no one really understands how to listen, but it's not their fault. They're not really taught to listen. As we're brought up and through our educational system, our kids are taught and ourselves are taught to write. We get 12 years of writing. How do we make our A's to all the way to writing essays? We get 9 years of reading education. You know, the newspaper is written on a 6th grade level. Well, we get reading education for about 9 years. Potentially in high school, we get some speaking, how to speak, public speaking for about 2. But no one's ever really taught to listen. But if you really think about what we do day to day, and especially a salesperson, what we are taught is the inverse of what we do. We spend about 40% of our time listening, 35% speaking, about 16% writing, and reading, and only about 9% writing. So what we're actually taught to do is not the most critical. And as salespeople, we have to identify value from our clients, and we don't get that by telling them about it. We get it by listening and understanding their point of view. So we have to be better listeners.
Yeah, I agree. Actually, Dave Collins and we were just talking about that, how listening is key to understanding what your customers need. There's definitely a need to listen. Why don't we dive a little bit deeper into listening? Why is that so vital?
So again, we're never really taught how to listen. And most salespeople think that they are there to talk about their product and what they are selling, as sales is something they do to someone, not something they do with them. So we don't even want to listen to or respond. We want to listen to understand. And drawing on an automotive analogy, let's go to Henry Ford, right? Henry Ford created the first automobile, the quadricycle. But when he asked people what they wanted, they said they wanted a horse that didn't get sick, that didn't get tired, that didn't eat as much. Maybe they didn't smell some funny smells from where they were sitting on the backside of the horse. But at the end of the day, when Henry Ford asked them and he listened to what they were saying, what they were really telling him is they wanted to get places faster, more efficiently, and more reliably. All they knew to equate it to was a horse. But what they were really saying wasn't that they didn't want a horse that got tired. They wanted something more dependable that allowed them to get there faster. And lo and behold, what did he bring them? He brought them the horseless carriage, which was an automobile. So people don't really know what they want, don't really know what they need, but they know what they want. And your job as a salesperson is to listen and understand where that falls into play.
And then to help break it down into what their need is, as Henry Ford did. Why don't we finish up with new products and solutions? As new products and solutions become available from companies like Avery, Dennis, and Performance Tapes, how do we sell innovation or innovative products?
You know, Robin, it's funny. I watch so many salespeople, and they are what I call the walking brochure. They're a really expensive brochure that all they're doing is they're rattling off feature, advantage, benefit, and they're talking about their product, but they're not really solving a problem. So how you present, especially a new product, makes a huge difference. And yes, there is question-based selling, and I'm a huge proponent of consultative selling. But when you're presenting a new innovative product to a client or to the masses, there's a couple steps you need to take. Number one, you need to establish credibility. Much how we started this broadcast or this webinar, we started off with my history. And I've got 20 years of sales experience, from my education to real world to what I'm doing and how I help clients. And what we're doing is we're setting a foundation that Tom knows what he's talking about. Well, same thing when you're presenting a product to a client. Hey, you're listening to Avery Dennison. We know what we're talking about when it comes to X, Y, and Z, pressure sensitive adhesives, so on. But then we have to identify an opportunity. If you're just simply presenting your product, whether you're a telemarketer trying to renew some auto insurance or the warranty on your car, we all know that, hey, we don't need it, and we're putting up the proverbial objections. But if you spend time identifying the opportunity, as Dave was talking about the EV market, and he was talking about where we're going with digital assets in cars, he's creating an opportunity. They have to be held on. We're seeing different things happen in the EV space. And the whole idea is to get the audience nodding yes. Hey, there's a challenge here. We recognize there's a challenge. If that challenge persists, what's going to continue to happen? We have spent the time just establishing credibility and identifying the opportunities, something the audience can relate to. And once they realize there is a challenge, there is an unmet need, only then are they actually ready for the solution? And that's when you can present the product. Here's what the product is, and here's how it solves that problem. And then after that, it's how do we customize it? So what more does that mean for you? How do we make this special for you and your business? So you establish the credibility that you're a knowledgeable source or resource for them. You know what you're talking about. We all gain agreement that there's an opportunity. If you don't recognize there's a problem that needs to be solved, the solution does you no good. Then you find the solution, and then we customize it for your business. And when you follow that flow, it helps people understand where an innovative product comes in, not just something that they didn't need yesterday, so I probably don't need it tomorrow.
Seems like a fairly simple and logical formula. And I like this slide a lot. It spells it out pretty well. This was a really interesting interview, Tom. Thank you. We really appreciate your time. We appreciate that you spared this time with us and shared your guidance and expertise with us. So how can our viewers get a hold of you?
Yeah, Robin, my website is a great resource. It's shift-stc, sales train consult, stc.com, or they can email me directly at at shift-stc.com.
And I'm assuming also that at shift-stc.com, they can learn more about Shift.
Correct.
Okay, great. Well, thank you so much. We appreciate all this time. Thank you. Thank you. This has been wonderful. I really appreciate your time. That's it for this episode of OnCore Live Industry Insight Sessions. We really do appreciate your time and hope that you enjoyed this session as much as we did. From all of us here at OnCore Live, have a happy, safe, and joyful holiday season. Thanks again for joining us today, and we'll see you next year.